Charlemagne, the new natalism. Europe has good and bad reason to wanting more baby. The policies reward fertility can disguise both buying or worse. It takes surprisingly a little effort to get a Eurocrat to talk about sex. The European Commission plugs in various exchange programs with cartoons of young people meeting hot Spanish girl and hunky Frenchman. Spokesperson boasts that such liaisons on its Erasmus student exchange have led to 1 million babies. The scheme increased the European libido, said Jean-Claude Juncker, the Luxembourgish former president of the European Commission. The Umberto Eco, an Italian writer, summed up the trend of thinking about the EU. I call it a sexual revolution. Young Catalan man meets a Flemish girl, they fall in love and they get married and they become a European. So do their children. Eurocrats have a new excuse to bring it to the topic. Babies, or more rather than more the lack of them. Demographic slumps in Eastern Europe had led to panic among its leaders, who are scrambling to come up with a boosting baby production. At summits, EU leaders gambling about lousy birth rates as well as a great affair of state. Across the bloc, the women can expected to have an average 1.6 babies each, or as few as 1.3 in some countries. That leaves Europe with too few children to maintain its population, absent immigration. After Europe's nagging from the Eastern member states, the topic was placed on the European Council strategic member states. The topic was placed on the European Council strategic agenda for the 5 years. For the first time, the issue of demographic has its own dedicated commissioner in Brussels, who will look at the ways to make life easier for families. Natalism, where the state tried to increase birth rate, is back. The new natalism is most pronounced in Eastern Europe, where the total production strategies are new tractor production strategies. At one event, Croatia's Prime Minister boasted that his countrywomen had generated 900 more baby crutch than the year before. Politicians compete to offer wide generous schemes to new parents. Estonia offers 18 months of paid parental leave. Poland dished out 500 zloty, about 120 euro per month for each child after the first, meaning a parent with 3 would live the equivalent of the half the minimum wage. In Hungary, mothers of four are exempt from income tax for life, and the government considering extending the benefit to mothers of three. Having more babies is one area where the Eastern and Western Europe can agree. French governments have always showered parents with goodies ranging from cash benefit to medals for those with four or more children. Germany is more recent convert, boosting spending on welfare for parents and state-sponsored baby care over the past 2 decades. The minister who oversaw that transformation was Ursula von der Leyen, now president of the European Commission and mother of 7, as her Twitter proudly notes. In some ways, the baby policy bonanza is nothing new. Natalism has a long history in Europe, but not happy one. Romans banned childless women over the age of 24 from wearing the precious metals, while single men paid the bachelor tax. In 17th century France, anyone who married before age of 20 was exempt from tax over the exempt from tax until they are 25. In the interwar period, German and Italian fascists were the most enthusiastic natalists. Go back home and tell the women I need more births. Benito Mussolini, the Italian dictator, told women's groups. After the war, the most Europe governments understandably skirt the topic. Natalist schemes do not work very well. Governments of all bands, whether totalitarian or democratic, failed to boost birth rates in the run-up to the Second World War. Yet, a more laissez-faire approach after the war coincided with the baby boom. No one decides to have another child for €500, point out Richard Tuchman, the author of Nationalizing Sex, Fertility, Fear, and Power. On account of governments often crack-handed attempt to control breeding. Even schemes that have only a modest effect of the number of children. For the most part, governments throw the money at people who would have had a child anyway, who would have had offspring anyway. Fear has played a large role in dragging the state back into the bedroom. Demography is a canvas on which politicians can paint their deepest worries. For those in Western Europe, The fear is economic. With productivity growth low, welfare states need to generate more young workers to fund themselves, lest they collapse like a population-based Ponzi scheme. Further, the fear is around identity.